Alright guys, so here we are. As part of my shorts, I am making a sweater. This is the bottom part of a sleeve. I'm just using regular double crochets and single crochets. This little gap I made, I started doing a double crochet, then I would skip and do a chain, and then another double crochet, and then chain, another double crochet, and then chain, and skip one stitch in between down at the bottom. Then I'd come back over and just do a single crochet line up at the top, and then repeat again the double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, double crochet, chain, with skipping one of the stitches down at the bottom. So the first sleeve came out pretty well, I think. It's the first time doing this kind of like sleeve down at the bottom, so it has that nice like stretchy feel, and it's not too tight either, which I'm pretty happy about. The seam came out really nice too. I love this color. My friend Katrina gave this to me, and she was planning on doing stuff with it, but she just ended up not having enough time to do so. So she dropped it off with me the other day, and I tried it out, and I just love the way it looks in the double and single crochets. So I figured, well, might as well. I have like two other cakes of the Karen Blossom, I think that's what it's called, the Blossom Cakes Karen yarn. They recommend 5mm, and the 5mm for knitting and crocheting. So I'm using a 5.5mm, which I find is actually a little bit better. Makes it a little bit loose. It's not like super tight. I typically like to go up a size when it comes to this kind of yarn. The yarn itself, it's not like horribly thick, which is good, but it is a little bit like, it's not flimsy, it's just very airy, which is wonderful for a sweater, but it makes it just a little bit more malleable for getting caught on hooks and things like that. But overall I like it. I like the softness and the texture of it. Definitely would look for it again. So if anybody is looking for that kind of yarn, obviously feel free to try Michael's. My favorite store, Joann Fabrics, has gone out of business, unfortunately, so we don't necessarily have that wonderful place to go to, which I was very sad about because I had a lot of really good memories going there as a kid. Going there with my grandmother on the weekends and picking out stickers and dress patterns and making our own Easter dresses and doll clothes and things like that. That's how I got my start with crafts and things like that. I started doing things with my grandmother at a very young age. She never really let me purchase doll clothes. She's like, we can make that, and then she'd go find a pattern and we'd shrink the pattern down or find exact doll clothing patterns, and she'd teach me how to sew on her sewing machine, and we'd learn embroidery and a whole bunch of stuff. I don't unfortunately have a good relationship with my grandmother anymore, but I really do appreciate all of the things that she taught me when I was young, because as you can see now, I'm able to continue with all of this and make some stuff. And Brittany and I, my business partner, are trying to start up the Possibly Patchwork location in New Bedford, which we're super happy about. We are getting ready to close on the location on the 28th, so this coming, I believe it's a Thursday. Is it a Thursday? The 28th? No, it's a Monday. Yeah. Excuse me, sorry, the air is really dry tonight, so my voice is a little bit funky. but we're closing on Monday, which is fantastic. We've had a lot of people pitch in and help for shelving units and making sure the space is able to be, set up the way we need, to make sure all of our vendors can be accommodated. We've gotten a few friends who are interested as well, who are going to try and sell their items and their things. And honestly, with how many people we have interested in everything, I have a feeling we're going to do pretty well. So I'm not necessarily concerned about the revenue part of it. And it'll be a fun experience, I think, for Brittany and I. Very excited to do this with her and provide a place. Excuse me, gracious. Provide a place for the homeschool group in New Bedford. If anybody is wondering, I don't know who's done double crochet or not, but my friend Katrina, I was teaching her how to do it the other day. So if you have your stitch and your hook, I do not teach the actual yarn over, pull it through, stitching type of jargon. So this is how I hold my yarn in my hand. So it comes up and wraps around this. I hold here, as you can see. I hold this, and I told Katrina it's all about turning your hook, going through and up and through, up, through and up. So I wrap it around, hold on, put my finger here so it doesn't go anywhere, and I go through both the top little stitches, grab the yarn here, twist it, the hook, and pull it through. Now you have 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we wrap it again, pull it through 2, wrap it again, and pull it through 2 more, and that is a double crochet. Wrap it, travel in a tunnel, pull it through the hole, wrap it again, pull it through 2, wrap it again, pull it through 2. The other way I remembered is wrap it to pull through an anchor stitch, and then 1, 2. Wrap it, pull through an anchor stitch, 1, 2. Wrap it, pull it through an anchor stitch, 1, 2. Now, a lot of people think I'm weird because I use this left hand to wrap things around and use both hands to do this. A lot of crocheters will hold their hands like this and go up and down, and they'll wrap up, then they'll go down, then they'll wrap up, and then do it this way. Like, this is very uncomfortable for me. The reason why I think I do it this way is because I was a knitter first. I learned how to knit first thing when I was about 7 years old, so I'm used to wrapping the yarn around the tool or the needle. And honestly, I feel like it makes me a little bit faster at crocheting than most people. If I, don't necessarily concentrate on what I'm doing, I can do it pretty quickly, and it's not necessarily a horrible thing. But I see all these crochet videos and they're like, oh, that's not the proper hand posture. And I'm like, well, it's honestly whatever fits best for you. Like, if it works best for you to get one of those little fancy little rings to put your yarn through to make sure you don't get, a yarn burn in between your fingers while you're yanking on that wonderful string, then go for it. But for me, I do better if I pretend, I guess, that I'm knitting while I'm crocheting. But my friend Katrina and I had a fun time learning to crochet and to teach her those stitches and help her with that. She was learning how to make a blanket, which is great. Obviously, it's another late night video that I'm posting here, so if anybody has their crafts and they're not knowing what to do and just kind of want to sit and listen and and or sit here and watch it. I was told that watching somebody crochet can be very therapeutic. So if anybody wants to sit and just watch me crochet, then you have come to the correct place for that video. Because I'm literally just sitting here and crocheting. But yeah, or if anybody has anything that they want to talk about or anything like that, feel free to comment on the video. Again, I'm pretty much a good listener. I hope so. My friends typically say I am. But if you want to comment on anything, if you have any ideas on maybe a next project for me to do, I have a ton of blue yarn, which once I'm kind of finished rambling, I'll bring you guys over to see that blue yarn. I have about, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 17, 18, 19. I have about 20 like cakes of blue yarn, and it's much thinner than this yarn. It's like, I'm twisting it to try and get the thickness correct. So it's about that thick rather than the nice plump fluffy yarn. But it's very soft. Oh, I think I just did a single crochet for that one. Come back here. But the person who was going to use it was going to try and make a king size blanket, and realized that they bit off more than they could chew for the project. And was like, hey, I know you like to crochet. Would you like to take these off my hands? And I am never going to say no to free yarn. Any yarn that I have to not pay for to do my projects and possibly sell and get money for, absolutely. If it's free, it's for me, right? But yeah, if anybody has any projects they want to do while they're sitting here listening or watching or anything like that, feel free to do projects with me. I love to share art things with people and just kind of be artsy. So I am just gonna continue crocheting, and the rest of it I'm probably not gonna talk because my voice is getting a little bit a little hoarse and a little raspy, and I don't necessarily want to cough all over my camera. So, but if anybody has anything they want to talk about, feel free to do so or to comment. And otherwise, enjoy your night and enjoy the rest of this crochet video. Sorry, just had to adjust that camera view there. Oh, I also guess it would be a good thing to mention that I also learned how to crochet from a left-handed crocheter. So that may also be why my crochet style is a bit different than other people. Might need to go get my inhaler. Goodness, the air is really dry tonight. And if my angle on my crochet line looks off, it's supposed to be. The sleeve is supposed to puff out just a little bit, so don't worry, I know that that is supposed to be happening. Excuse me and pardon me. Apologize for coughing in your ear. I don't know if you can see it, but I really do like the variation in the yarn. I wish you guys could feel this. It's so soft. I just really like the way the white and the black and the gray kind of mix together. It's so pretty. Thank you, Katrina. And I also want to say thank you so much for the followers who have popped up. I now have 11 subscribers, which is amazing considering I only started like a couple of days ago. I have reached out to a couple of people to be like, hey, I have a YouTube channel. But not too many. Maybe like 3 or 4. So the fact that you guys are interested and wanted to subscribe and see my shorts and my videos, I really do sincerely appreciate it. Makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something as I work towards helping with possibly patchwork and getting my crafts and my items viewed more online as I continue with this business venture. So just wanted to say thank you, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. I hope that it is something that can either help relax you or inspire you to work on your own projects. I know sometimes when you do projects by yourself, it can feel kind of defeating, particularly if you have to undo it, redo it, undo it, or redo it and look at it and it still doesn't look right, and then you just kind of like chuck it aside and you move on to something else, and then you're like, well, I should get back to the old project, and then when you do, you just don't have motivation for it. So I hope that these videos and everything give you guys a little bit of motivation to continue with your crafting and continue working on the things that you find enjoyable. I know crocheting is like a certain type of therapy for me. Yarn therapy. You know, a lot of people don't like to sit with their thoughts. Actually, growing up, I was encouraged to do that, to sit and think about things and contemplate things and, you know, figure out what you want to do with your life or choices or decisions that you have to make. And, you know, I really appreciate my parents for encouraging that particular kind of thinking in me, where I can just kind of sit and think, and honestly not be too afraid to sit with my thoughts. And at one point in time, I was afraid to sit with my own thoughts, and then I sat with them for a little bit and I realized that there was nothing to fear about those thoughts. And I know, you know, it's late night, and I know some people who are scrolling or looking at videos may be struggling with those dark thoughts right now. And I hope and pray that this particular kind of activity can help calm that nervous system and that overload that you may be feeling, and that desperate want, need, and desire to run away and not be alone with your thoughts and not process the things that you need to work through. And you know, sitting with your thoughts is not necessarily a bad thing. Sitting with the understanding that we are not perfect human beings, that's why we're human, and understanding that we make mistakes. I mean, I could take this yarn and pull it all through all 3 hoops, and then I've got, you know, this half double crochet, and it's not fun. And the reason why I'm using that silly little example is because, you see, I just literally pulled on this string and undid it and went backwards. And I know in life we don't necessarily have the option to go backwards, but we do have the option to move forward. So let's say, you know, I missed a stitch and I completely skipped it and I went like this. You know, yeah, there's going to be a hole there. Yeah, I'm going to have to consider that in what I'm doing and consider possibly patching it or doing something with it. But even if I couldn't go back like what I just did, which is the same thing in life. You can't always go back and take back your actions. You always have the decision to move forward, to take what you learned and to continue to better yourself. And bettering yourself is hard. And it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of perseverance and willingness to look at yourself and look at the things that you've done to, be like, okay, well, that's not really how I want to be. That's not who I want to be. And, ask yourself, who would God want me to be? And I know not a lot of my followers probably are Christian. And if you are, fantastic. If you aren't, you know what? God is looking for you. And I know that sounds kind of funny, but He is. And when you're ready to find Him, you'll find Him. And He'll be right there, and you'll be horrifically surprised at how close He is. And you'll be wondering why you thought He was so far away when He was really just standing right next to you. But move forward in your life. Don't get stuck. Don't look at everything and get so discouraged and not be able to move past it or move around it or maneuver through it. And it's hard, and life is painful. The Princess Bride quote that comes to my mind all the time is, "Life is pain, Highness. Anybody who tells you differently is selling something." And it's true. Life is painful. And if you're unprepared for that, if you think life is going to be super squeaky clean and super easy, and it's, oh, look at this, it's going to look all nice and pretty all the time, it's not going to. You start out life, it's going to look like a horrible, horrible mess. And the yarn is going to look like a crazy, nasty disaster. And you're going to just want to take scissors to it and chop it into pieces and go from there. But there are pieces that you can still use. Like if you're trying to untangle, forgive the yarn analogy, if you're trying to untangle yarn, there's no sense in cutting it. Just sit there patiently and pull at the strings and untie, untwist, undo whatever you need to do and patiently pull it apart. The more patience you can have, even with just little inanimate objects like yarn and your crafting projects and things, it does exercise a certain level of patience and understanding. And it's an exercise in your emotional well-being as well, to be able to keep your temper under control. I personally have a horrible temper. And crocheting does not necessarily keep me calm all the time. I get frustrated with things. And it's an exercise in understanding my emotions and being able to recognize them and being able to bring them under control. We don't have to be a slave to our emotions, and I know the world tells us that if you feel a certain way, then you must act on that particular feeling, and that's not the case. So, I don't know if you came here for wonderful world advice, but there you go. These are the things I think about when I'm crocheting, and as I said, sitting with my thoughts isn't always a bad thing, particularly when you're just kind of sitting there and musing to yourself about what you could do, what could happen, or what you would do in a certain situation, or how could you have handled that situation differently. And there's always things that women think about on a consistent basis that when I tell my husband that I've been thinking about these things, he's like, I just sat over there and I didn't think about anything because I was so drained and so tired. And I'm like, even when I'm drained and tired, I still think about things. My brain does not shut off. It doesn't matter how hard I try. It's that wonderful analogy of having 13,000 computer tabs open and music is playing from one of them. Like 8 screens have frozen and I cannot find the tab that's playing the music to turn it off. Like, it's just consistently going. And there's only certain things that I can sit there and not pay attention to. I mean, as I posted on the other video, it's ramblings. Like, it's just thoughts that go through my head. What we need to do to better our lives, what a yarn analogy, like, goodness gracious. Can you tell me you're a crafty wife without telling me you're a crafty wife? Let's use a yarn analogy to tell you how to live your life and how to better your life. Like, the younger me would be literally rolling her eyes right now and being like, really? You've turned into, like, a dad person where you're using weird analogies for things. And I'm sure if my dad sees this video, he's going to be like, yep, that's my girl. Like, he's very funny that way. But, I hope this video has brought you at least a little bit of peace, even if it's just hearing my ramblings rather than your own ramblings. And I'm only, posting little half-hour, 40-minute videos because sometimes that's all you need. You just need 30, 40 minutes of just crocheting and musings and talking to yourself, and for me, talking to the Lord and bringing your burdens and your frustrations to Him. For me, it's the best time to do it. When everything's quiet, when there's no sirens going out on the boulevard over here, there's no people shouting on their phones and talking and yelling at their kids, or kids squealing outside, and my husband's asleep and the rabbits are all tucked in for the night, and I'll probably turn on a TV show here in a little while and just kind of let it watch me as I sit here and crochet, because I want to try and get the second arm of this sweater done tonight. But, I hope tonight, whatever thoughts that you have rattling around in your head, whatever things have been just bothering you, I hope and pray that God can take those from you. And if you're having a problem with them and you feel like you're at the end of your rope, God is waiting there to help you tie another string onto it, so you have more help, you have more hope. I like the saying for the word hope: hold on, pain ends. And it's true, it does. The pain does eventually end. Whether it's because we've gotten used to the pain or not, that's neither here nor there. But the pain eventually does end. And for me personally, I know that my pain ended. And I get new pains every once in a while, and new obstacles that make my heart hurt. Tonight we got a call from a friend who isn't doing so well, and they've made some pretty bad life choices, and there's nothing we can do to help them. There's nothing that I could do or say to better their life right now because they're not willing to listen. And it hurts my heart. I'm the person that likes to fix things. I'm the person that likes to, create, and to see a finished product is very rare for me, even in my crafting world. But to see a finished product in the living adult version, people, as I used to call movies as a kid, the people version of scenarios. This person, this friend of ours may never get their life together, and I hope and pray that they do, because they're a decent human, and they're kind, and they're generous, and they're sweet, and I know God has a plan. I know eventually that something will get a hold of their heart, and they'll wake up one day and they'll be like, oh my gosh, this is what God has done for me. And I hope if you're listening, or if you come across this video and you feel that you are at the end of your rope, when you feel like you are completely spent, like this yarn thing is running out of yarn, I'll be done with it by the end of this, not even the end of this this sleeve. And just because there's an end of this particular cake of yarn doesn't mean that I don't have 2 more standing over there on the coffee table, ready to be attached and to give more strength and more yarn to finish the product, to, as the Bible calls it, run the race. And, you know, you're not finished on this earth until God says you're finished. So I just hope and pray that our friend is not finished on this earth yet. I pray that God continues to protect them and to love them and to not let them go, and to not forget that they too were created by Him, and that they too deserve to follow Him because He gave His life for them. God gave His life for you and for me. He died a horrible, horrible death on a cross. Brutally impaled, whipped and beaten, so that I could sit here and crochet, honestly speaking. Like, how silly of a reason is that to have died for somebody, if you genuinely think about it? And I know not a lot of people are going to believe that. Not a lot of people are going to understand the Bible and understand what it means to people and what it means to them personally. But I hope and pray that if you're listening to this, and if you've been searching, or if you're concerned that God is not going to take care of you, He's not going to take you in, He's not going to care about you, I hope you understand that He does. And the fact that you're watching this video, a random video that you don't know me, you don't know what my life story has been or what my life is, you have no idea. I could be talking out my butt right now, but I'm literally telling you as if I know who you are, as if you're sitting right in front of me, that God loves you, and He has not forgotten you, and He will never forget you. He created you from every single hair on your head to the fingerprints that are on your hand. Whether you believe in science or not, God created science. He created the laws of physics. Science proves that God exists because there is no other explanation. So tonight, while you're crocheting, if you're a Christian, contemplate how God wove you together, just like we're doing with the yarn. We are weaving together yarn to create something. And the Bible says that He wove you together in your mother's womb, which means He made you specifically. He knit, He crocheted. God is crafty. He is the creator. And I think being crafty is one of the best ways to be close to God, particularly if you have the gift and you have the ability to create. So I hope everybody has a good night, and I hope that the video was helpful, information giving, encouraging, whatever adjective you want to put to it. I just hope that it maybe lightened your load a little bit tonight. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. Thanks for supporting me in my endeavors for possibly patchwork and just my own personal crafty nature here. And I will see you guys all either in a couple of days when I post another video like this, or next week. So, alright, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.